Hello everyone, today we are in Swindon for part 2 of searching the country for the best town or city based on charity shops. Last week was Cheltenham, today Swindon, and I didn't think it would be second. It's not my favourite place in the world, but last week this charity shop behind the camera was donated some live ammunition, some bullets, and they had to close down for the day. So that kind of inspired me to come here because what other crazy stuff do they have in these Swindon charity shops? Stick around, I'm going to show you which ones are a hit, what the route is, and I'm doing it all with a £20 budget. So, let's go. That is it.
Hello everyone and welcome to Swindon. Our first charity shop is this massive cancer research warehouse, and it goes deep, it's big. We've got a lot of brand new stuff as well, which was quite a surprise. The bric-a-brac things were a mix, and it was interesting. I've never seen a charity shop with this much new stuff, and I think this will make sense the further we go into this video. There were some good games. I remember playing Connected Ventures growing up a lot. And again, we've got a load of packages already sealed. What was going on here? It's a very weird experience. The ratio of new to old is only thrown off by this media section. Massive DVD wall. A lot of comics. Maybe there's some value there. I don't really know anything about comics. Maybe some of these would have been a good read. Quick fit check. But then on to more brand new stuff. This was interesting, but I've never, what am I going to do? Is this a gravy jug bookshelf? I'm disappointed, and I go to Costa, but look at that queue. There is a pre-owned car boot charity shop mobile. Damn.
Considering that charity shop had live bullets in it less than a week ago, that was pretty mundane and boring and average actually. Yeah, looked in the clothes. There was no glass case to review, which is insane. How can you have a charity shop that big but no glass case? And they had a load of brand new packaged stuff, so I'm not sure what kind of deal they've struck with someone, but who knows. Went to try and cheer myself up with a coffee, and then you see the queue and it's just like, what is going on? Like, we're in the middle of nowhere on the outskirts of Swindon and it's rammed out here. I suppose we can only hope for better in the next one, but at least I'm walking away with 100% of the budget. I am checking the clothes sections today, might try and whip up a fit of some sort, but you know, after that, my hopes aren't very high. Here we are. The next warehouse on the other side of Swindon. This one doesn't have all the horror stories about bullets and guns, so maybe that's a good sign. Maybe we'll get some undiscovered gems like that. Honestly, driving here was fucking crazy. Everyone's just, it's like, the roads are nice and there's no potholes and stuff, but the people on the roads are just insane. Yeah, I might get murdered for saying that. Yeah, so if you are coming here, you want to bring a sat-nav you trust or a good co-pilot, and yeah, it's like you'll have 4 lanes going into a tiny roundabout. It's ridiculous. Nobody knows how to use it. So, but good news is I made it. So let's go hit this one.
So we move on to the next one with our head held high. A little Sense charity shop across Swindon. It looked a lot bigger on the outside. I love a penguin book. Do I get the real penguin t-shirt? I'll pass for today. Considering the way people are driving, How to Kill Men seems like it makes sense, and it's a very well-read copy, so maybe they do know their stuff out here. This was a pretty interesting setup, but am I gonna use it? Am I gonna lug it around? No. A little stationary bike, some CDs and alarm clocks, but nothing jumped out to me the same way it did in Cheltenham last week. So I'm confused, I'm conflicted. I'm looking around and it's all just this weird assortment of crockery. This stuck out, but I'm never gonna use it. I don't have friends round for sips of tea, so despite how cool it was and how I'm sort of in an oriental period, I had to hit the road.
Another dud. I thought this was going to be great. Two massive charity shops. Well, they look massive. I feel like they're holding out in there. I think they put up a fake wall and they got loads of stuff in the back, because there's a Home Bargains and a Food Warehouse from either side, and they go so far back. That's probably like, what, 5 meters deep, that shop? Yeah, it's rough. I'll go for a Starbucks drive-through, and then we're gonna hit the centre. And if it doesn't pick up then Swindon has been a complete flop. The clothes weren't good in there, DVDs weren't very good in there, tech was okay, but like, I'm not after a monitor and a subwoofer. Stationary, what was it? It was like a stationary bike or something. So much weird random stuff. Where's like the mediums and the valuable? There's a glass case, but it was worth like nothing. There was like a poker set and a book about Legos. Like, where's all the valuable stuff? Where's all the cool stuff? Where's the trinkets? Like, that bookcase jug in the last one was interesting. This had nothing. I breathe a sigh of relief every time I get to the car parking space, because I'm safe from the insane drivers out here, man. It's ridiculous. If you're looking for a place to park in the centre, I would have said it's called Whale Bridge. The sat-nav called it Wala Bridge. The barriers are usually broken, so you can just park here for free. But always check when you arrive, you know. Yeah, we're gonna hit a couple more. I didn't even get to try my coffee because I went through the drive-through, and I was just straight onto the crazy roads again. Well, they do crushed ice in this Starbucks, not big chunks. Lovely.
As far as charity shops go in the centre, they are few and far between. So if you're by the Waterstones, it's only a short walk down to this British Heart Foundation furniture shop. And it is big, but it is just a furniture shop. There is nothing particularly stand out for this kind of series. This lamp was pretty cool, but am I gonna lug a sofa home? Am I gonna drop 70 quid on a lamp? No and no. So despite how big and how much of an opportunity it had, none of this stuff was worth it for me. The £20 budget is far exceeded, but Swindon was desolate, and I feel like I know where all of the good stuff is. This pawn shop was filled with gadgets and Xboxes and consoles and cameras and guitars, and so was CEX. This teenage engineering synthesizer was one of my favorite bits of kit, and I don't blame people in Swindon for not donating stuff when, as we'll get to later on, maybe pawning and reselling it is a much more viable option for people out here. If you do a 180 from CEX, you'll find a street filled with 3 charity shops, and they're small ones, and they're ones that are closing down. The donations are mostly closed, and even though I was looking and I was trying to make it fit today, nothing really was good. Cross the street from the first couple and you'll end up in another British Heart Foundation, and this one was the most interesting shop of the day, I think. There was a decent selection of clothes, the staff were really friendly actually, and when I got to the book section at the back, there was something that might help me on this trail. Now there was a glass case, as you'll see, but this book that I'm about to grab, The Antique Roadshow Guide. Now I've been flicking through this since recording my trip to Swindon. A book of use. Now I've only spent 50p of the budget, so I'm not leaving Swindon completely empty-handed. I head over to HMV because there's a film that I really want, and even though it's not pre-owned, it's something physical and something interesting. I searched the whole shop for it just to find it in the foreign film section, which makes sense that it wouldn't be in with the regular films. But Perfect Days is one of my favorite films. If you've watched it, it'll make sense. The guy collects cassettes, the guy reads books, the guy has a nice collection of physical photos taken on his film camera. I'd recommend it to anyone. I'm walking through Swindon, back to the car, and it doesn't really inspire. It's sad. And can you blame them? Really?
Whew. Right, so I'm back at the car. That was exhausting, actually. It's so grey out here. Like, the weather matches today. Like, everyone is so down, and it's tough out here, I guess. Nothing particularly good in the shops. I'll speak about the things I did get back at home, but yeah, yeah, Swindon. At least the coffee was good. At least the coffee was good.
Salut tout le monde, welcome back. We are in the studio, aka my living room. We can go over the book really quick. It's just some of the people on the show talking about their specialties and what's worth stuff, what's not. Great read. The film, watched it again on DVD, phenomenal. Need we say more about that? We'll get to the full usual star review at the end, but I just want to talk about Swindon as a whole and maybe why the charity shops are not too good. I mentioned a few points as we were going through, but it is not the most desirable place to be at the moment, according to what I've been reading online. This BBC article, poor quality town centre needs reinvention, and they blame it on big retailers pulling out like Debenhams, House of Fraser and Marks and Spencer's, but what does that mean for the people that are there? Unfortunately, not much. It doesn't seem like a group of individuals could do very much on a smaller scale. It needs larger scale remodeling and investment and decisions that are kind of out of the independent individuals' hands. So maybe this is a reflection of the charity shops. So people don't want to donate as much. They want to be flippant, and who can blame them? Because people around here are doing the same thing. I looked up the stats, and the average wage in 2021 in Swindon was 28.5k. The UK average supposedly is 39,000. So 10k less, and also the centre doesn't look very good. Why would you want to go out and spend money in a place that doesn't look very nice when you could go for like a 20-30 minute drive, end up in Cheltenham, end up in Gloucester, end up in some prettier places to spend your time? And there's some reports here about Swindon being rough, and apparently it's sort of rumoured there are some bad areas, but it's not the high profile crime town that is sort of portrayed. And I can't say for certain, this is just what I've been reading, but it doesn't paint a good or a bad picture. It's just a very grey image of like in limbo sort of. So it's tough, it's very tough. And obviously I'm not saying what I've speculated is true, it's just speculation. So please don't be upset or offended by that. It's got an 80% employment rate, which is higher than some boroughs of London. So what are we to believe here? Like, what is going on? It's kind of out of my depth to say what is wrong with it. I'm an antique camera dealer who specializes in philosophy as well. I'm not a local politician. I don't know. I'm not a journalist. This is just, as far as charity reviews go, Swindon is a disappointment, and the amount of footage I got was quite not very impressive, so I just thought I'd try and make this more interesting and then understand why we might be here, why we maybe shouldn't judge Swindon so harshly, because what there's so much other moving parts to this, and maybe this is something we should consider when judging a town on its charity shops. But maybe it isn't. Maybe it should just be a face value. The charity shops are few and far between, really far apart, and the quality is bad. The rest of the town doesn't matter, but maybe that's misrepresenting what some of these towns and cities are. I think it would almost be damaging and harmful not to try and explain why a town might be struggling, why the charity shops might be bad. So, poor image in the media, poor investment, big brands and shops pulling out. No wonder people would rather sell their stuff to CEX or that other pawnbroker shop, which was filled with cool stuff. But like, we didn't find any bullets. There was no super gems here. Alright, let me explain how the rating works. It's a scale of 1 to 4 stars, so there is no middle. 1 star means only go there if you live there and expect disappointment. 2 stars, I will go there once for the experience. 3 stars, I'd recommend any self-respecting charity diver goes to. 4 stars, I'd go and go again. It's all subjective and might not be reflective of the whole town or city, but if you're looking for a good haul, a 4-star place is probably a safe bet. It isn't going to score highly in my rating, and it's not good for the charity shopper and diver, but there is a bigger picture that we might not be representing by giving it a star rating based on charity shops. So Swindon, unfortunately, will only get 1 star. I didn't even mention the GCPCS because I think it was maybe 0.5, 0.4. Some didn't have any, some had 1, and it was just not even any good stuff, unfortunately. I think the charity shops in Swindon sort of reflect not the people themselves, but things out of their control, people pulling out, lack of control and direction and investment. So maybe this is something we should consider in future videos about what the story behind the charity shops might tell us. People don't want to donate. I didn't speak to anyone, this is all speculative, but maybe people don't want to donate because they're struggling out here. And who can blame them? Hopefully the next video will be a brighter one. Oh, please leave a comment if you're more on board with this sort of deep dive into why the charity shops might be the way they are, or if you just prefer me to only rate the charity shops in a vacuum. But I feel like it would be dishonorable of me not to explore it to begin with and not disclose it in future videos. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.